All right, we're about to get into a story that starts on a pretty normal, quiet night, but it ends with a question that I promise you is going to stick with you long after we're done here.
Just let that sink in for a second. This one single, chilling thought is really the core of this whole thing. It's that exact moment a late-night study session went from stressful to something else entirely.
So picture this. We've got a student. She's cramming for her final exams. You know how it is. The pressure's on, and the only place she can find some peace and quiet to actually focus is the school library, super late at night.
And the setting here is so important. It's 10 o'clock at night. Now, this library usually shuts down at 5, but because of exams, it's open late. Thing is, she's the only one left. She's never stayed this late before, and the silence is, well, it's not just quiet, it's heavy.
She's deep in her books, totally zoned in. And then, that heavy silence is just shattered. She hears this weird kind of dragging sound, a walk, coming from right outside the library doors. It was so unsettling that she immediately thought, okay, that's it, I'm leaving.
So she quickly packs up her stuff, walks out into this long, empty school hallway, and way down at the other end, she sees a figure, a woman, just standing there, motionless. The student calls out, hello, who's there? And poof, in just a few seconds, the figure is gone.
Okay, so she finally gets outside the school gates. She's relieved, but still, totally on edge. That creepy feeling from inside, it doesn't fade away. In fact, it's about to get a whole lot worse. Now, this street she's on is normally buzzing with cars and people, even this late. But tonight, it was just dead, completely deserted. Not a single car, not another person in sight. It felt like the whole world had just been emptied out, just for her. She's just got her head down, walking fast, trying to get home, when she notices a shadow stretching out on the sidewalk in front of her. But it's not her shadow. Her heart just stops. She looks up, and there's a woman walking just a little ways ahead of her. And this is what she sees. The woman is in these filthy, torn clothes. Her hands and feet are bent at these really unnatural angles. Her hair is a complete mess, all tangled and matted. And she's moving with this slow, agonizing limp. Like every single step is just excruciating.
You know that primal gut feeling you get when something is deeply wrong? That's what hit her. Every single part of her body was just screaming, do not get any closer. She couldn't go forward, but she was too scared to even turn and run. She was just frozen.
And right there, in that moment of just complete paralysis, this whole encounter hits its absolute terrifying peak. The slow, limping figure stops, and then it turns around. The woman looks straight at her, and in a voice that just echoes in the dead silence of the street, she asks this really simple but utterly horrifying question. Where's your house?
Our student is so terrified she literally can't speak. All she can do is lift up a trembling hand and point, just vaguely, into the darkness, anywhere but towards her real home. She just needs this woman to go away. And it works. Slowly, painfully, the woman starts limping in the direction she pointed.
As the figure disappears into the night, a blood-curdling scream just rips through the air, coming from the same direction the woman went. And that's it. That's the last thing she remembers before everything went black. The next thing she knows, she's waking up in her own bed. A neighbor had found her passed out on the street.
So, once she finally recovers, she tells her neighbor everything that happened. And the neighbor wasn't surprised. She just had this sad, knowing look on her face and explained that the student definitely wasn't the first person to meet this woman. And it was time for her to hear a really old, really tragic local story. The neighbor tells her that this spirit, she has a name, Agatha. And she's a restless soul, tied to that very area, whose story is just one of unimaginable loss. And this is where the story really shifts. It goes from being a terrifying horror story to something born out of just profound grief. This isn't a ghost story about malice, but about a heartbreaking tragedy.
So back in 1998, Agatha was living a happy life in an apartment right near the school with her daughter. But one day, the absolute unthinkable happened. Her little girl was killed in a terrible accident right there while playing at the school. Agatha was so consumed by grief, so completely lost in shock, that she herself died just a few days later. And ever since, people say her spirit just remains, endlessly walking those same streets, forever searching for the daughter she can't find.
9. Her daughter was only 9 years old. When you hear that number, it just reframes the entire story, doesn't it? It shifts the whole encounter from one of pure terror to one of just profound sadness.
So it all comes back to this. Agatha wasn't really asking the student for directions to her house. She was asking for her own house, a home that doesn't exist anymore, searching for a child she can never, ever find. And that leaves us with this one final haunting thought. Is she still out there right now, wandering that same street, asking that very same question?